Hi, my name is Kimberly Botello, and I started this little podcast to just kind of share some personal development that I've learned over the years. I actually had a situation that came up over the weekend with some friends of mine who, um, were not happy with one of our friends, and um, one of the friends called me up and actually was talking to me. And I said, hey, I made a commitment last year that I wasn't going to talk bad about people behind their backs, because if you do that, guess what? You most likely go and turn around and talk bad about my back. And I did say that to the friend. Um, I understood she just needed to get some stuff off her back, but that's just what happens. And so I have been looking endlessly through all of those books back there, trying to figure out which book it is. Um, I feel like it's Seven Habits of Highly Effective Families that it was from, but I kind of like scanned through it again and I can't find it, so it's driving me crazy. But two books that also kind of talk about the similar thing is You Are a Badass, which, if you haven't read it, is fucking awesome. So I was scrolling through that one and it just reminded me of a couple things. One of the things that I really like is the fact that you have, you're kind of like your mirror to yourself and the people you attract into your life and some of the insecurities that you might have. So this was one of those ones that I was reading and thinking, okay, maybe this is the book that I'm looking for with that advice. Close, but no cigar. But if you haven't picked up You Are a Badass, it is a really fun book. I like how witty she is with her conversations of everything, and that she's not afraid to use cuss words because, I mean, I have a shirt that says I'm the drop the F bomb kind of mom shirt. So I would highly suggest picking this one up. And then the other one that I was thinking was, it was really close, but How to Win Friends and Influence People. Dale Carnegie, a classic. Highly suggest that everyone in their life picks up this book and reads it. And I will tell you that I actually was scrolling through and I saw a couple of quotes that I was really touched by. Similar things of, pretty much, I'm trying to find it now. Of course, I can't find it because I scrolled by it. And just talking about judge not that ye be not judged, and don't criticize them. They are just what we would be under similar circumstances. But then at the end of this first chapter is actually one of my favorite stories. And as a mom of three, it definitely hits home. I read it already once tonight and started bawling my eyes out because it's titled Father Forgets. And I will share it with you. I will tell you, I don't know all the words because it's kind of an older story, or what they mean, but I at least get the gist of the story. It says, listen, son, I am saying this as you lie asleep, one paw crumpled under your cheek and the blonde curls sticking to your wet on your damp forehead. I have stolen into your room alone. Just a few minutes ago, I had sat reading my paper in the library. A swiftling wave of remorse swept over me. Grudgingly, I came to your bedside. There are things I was thinking, son. I have been cross to you. I scolded you as you were dressing for school because you gave your face merely a dab with a towel. I took you to task for not cleaning your socks. I called out angrily when I threw some of your things on the floor. Oh, when you threw some of the things on the floor. At breakfast, I found fault too. You spilled things. You gulped down your food. You put your elbows on the table. You spread your butter too thick on your bread. And as you started off to play and I made for my train, you turned and waved a hand and called goodbye, Daddy. And I frowned and said in reply, hold your shoulders back. Then it began all over again in the late afternoon. As I came off the road, I spied you down on your knees, playing marbles. There were holes in your stockings. I humiliated you before your boyfriends by marching you ahead of me to the house. Stockings were expensive, and if you had to buy them, you would be more careful. Imagine that, son, from a father. Do you remember later when I was reading in the library how you came in timidly with a sort of hurt look in your eyes? When I glanced up over my paper, impatient at the interruption, you hesitated at the door. What is it you want? I snapped. You said nothing, but ran across in the tempestuous plunge and threw your arms around my neck and kissed me, and your small arms tightened with affection that God had set blooming in your heart, which even neglect could not wither. And then you were gone, pattering upstairs. Well, son, it was shortly afterwards that my paper slipped from my hands, and a terrible, sickening fear came over me. What has habit been doing to me? The habit of finding fault, of reprimanding. This was my reward to you for being a boy. It was not that I did not love you. It was that I expected too much of your youth. I was measuring you by the yardstick of my own years. And there was so much that was good and fine and true in your character. The little heart of yours was big as the dawn itself over the wide hills. This was shown by your stupendous impulse to rush in and kiss me goodnight. Nothing else matters tonight, son. I have come to your bedside in darkness, and I have knelt there ashamed. It is a feeble astonishment. I know you would not understand these things if I told you them during the waking hours, but tomorrow I will be a real daddy. I will chum with you and suffer when you suffer. I will laugh when you laugh. I will bite my tongue when impatient words come. I will keep saying, as if it was a ritual, he's nothing but a boy, a little boy. I am afraid I have visualized you as a man, yet as I see you now, son, crumpled and weary in your cot, I see that you are still a baby. Yesterday you were in your mother's arms, your head on her shoulder, and I have asked too much, too much. That just hits so close to home as being a mom, and I try so hard to be a good mom. And I've read lots of books, and I know I'm not perfect. And I strive to be better every day. So I know this started off with trying to find who the heck said, if somebody's going to talk behind your back, they'll probably do it to you too. But when I found that, I had to share. I know it probably came out horribly with my crying, but this is me. I'm real. I have no makeup on. And I'm sitting on my couch in a puffy jacket because it's so cold outside. So I appreciate you guys listening. I look forward to having more subscribes on my page as time goes on. I appreciate the love and support that people have already given me for the YouTube videos I've already put out there. So I love you all. I appreciate it. Go hug your kids. Give them a kiss. Good night.